Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm your host, Jibril Abu Sumayyah, on our show, My New Life. Today, we'll be discussing prayer. As Muslims, it's obligated on us to pray 5 times a day. And with that, come a number of challenges for new Muslims. So we hope to cover them in today's show. Without any further ado, let me introduce my co-host, Jibril Abu Aasiyah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Nice to see you, brother.
And you too, Akhi. How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. So, when I first accepted Islam, I faced a number of different challenges when it came to learning how to pray. The Arabic aspect of it, the movements, the statements, the times. When you first accepted Islam, when did you start actually implementing the prayer?
So, as I mentioned in the last episode, I took my Shahada, I became Muslim one day before Ramadan started. So I was, I just jumped into the deep end, as you can say. So I could see what was happening and what have you, and I could try to follow it. But obviously, I was bound to make mistakes. One of the main mistakes, or one of the difficulties I had, is trying to get a connection. Because obviously, when you're in Salah, you have to recite in Arabic, whether you do it in your head or you do it outwardly. So, because I didn't know Arabic, I didn't know a word or what to say. I couldn't I felt like some sort of frustration. But obviously, the brothers used to tell me, listen, no one's going to learn Arabic overnight. I mean, some people be Muslim all their lives and they still find it difficult to pray Salah because of the Arabic. So you should just say, just in your head, just think of stuff like, that's to do with the world and the hereafter, and ask for forgiveness for anything you may have done and what have you. So it channels you to be more concentrated in yourself, have more khushu', basically be more have more concentration in your prayer. So that was one of the first things I had trouble with. Obviously, before Salah, before prayer, you have to make what is called wudu, which is ablution, where you wash your hands and face and your feet.
Who taught you how to do that?
The brother that I was used to be really close with when I was growing up. Yeah, so he used to show me, but I got it wrong so many times.
Right.
So many times, to a point. I used to have like a little book with me. So I remember that book used to be wet all the time.
Yeah.
I'll pull it in my bathroom and I'll just be following it, and then I'm like, and then sometimes I think I've got it, and then I'm like, okay, right, I don't know, do you know what I mean? So making...
It's something that comes with practice.
Exactly.
It's a ritual. So, I mean, for myself, when it came to learning how to pray, I definitely think that I took my time, because what I was advised by a number of brothers was that once you become a Muslim, Allah knows that it's going to take you a period of time before you can actually learn how to pray.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's not something that you can do literally just like that. And I've got a few family members that actually accepted Islam. For example, my sister, my mum at a point took her Shahada as well. And I witnessed from them, like what you mentioned, a sense of frustration. And I definitely think that that's from Shaitan, that he is trying to make you feel that
give up.
Give up, like it's harder than it actually is.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is something that obviously we should avoid.
Yeah.
Allah would not ask us to do something or obligate something on us that would be difficult, you know. So for myself, what happened was I actually went to the masjid. I had an eagerness to learn how to pray, because I felt that if I didn't, then I would not end up being able to maintain my Islam.
Yeah.
So he was 13 years old, so a young kid, and I was in the masjid, and he actually taught me how to pray, this young boy.
Yeah.
And that's a part of Islam as well, that you have that humility.
Yeah, yeah.
That you respect. There are kids that are like 10 years younger than me, that I've got a lot that I respect massively, because they've memorized the entire Quran. So age doesn't have anything to do with it.
Of course, yeah.
And he wrote down a bullet point. This is what you do first, second. So first, you start with your intention.
Yeah.
I intend to pray Dhuhr, for example, facing the Qibla, the Kaaba. And then takbir. And then step by step, that's what really helped me learn how to pray.
Yeah.
And you know how you mentioned when you had your wudu book, it used to be wet all the time, you take it in with you to try and make wudu. I had a prayer book, and I would literally kind of hold it, and I would read and go along with the prayer. But in my mind, maintaining that if I make a mistake, Allah isn't going to be displeased with me, because He knows that I'm just learning.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, as I said to you, I took Shahada during Ramadan. So my initial thought was, because I went to Tarawih, So I'm thinking, subhanAllah, like, wow, you lot pray for this long? Because I remember my first tarawih, I was in salah for time and I was feeling like I was sleepy and what have you. And these times I was thinking, right, this is going to be hard, isn't it? But obviously someone explained to me this only happens during Ramadan. And when you're tired in salah, it's not good to be in that state anyway. So you need to come out, get yourself more fresh and can continue your prayer. So I did have like confusion what we're supposed to do, what you're not meant to do. I think the reason why I was frustrated because I was excited. This is a new thing for me, a new part of my life. So I was excited that, okay, I need to pray, I need to do it this time and what have you. Another thing I found a bit tricky was remembering how many raka'ah, how many amount of prostrations I have to do for each prayer. Because obviously, as we know, for Fajr, which is the morning prayer, you do 2, and then Isha has got 4, and then which is an evening prayer, and then Maghrib, and the sun just about going, it's got 3 prostration. So I used to get confused in that. But I want to do all of them. I just wanted to know all of it at the time. But obviously, as we know, you can't just, you're not going to learn everything overnight.
So when you accepted Islam, was the salah something that you immediately went into implement into your life? Because you mentioned, of course, it was Ramadan, so of course you're fasting, you want to be able to pray alongside that as well.
Yeah.
So is it something that you try to implement straight away?
Yeah, it's something I'd try to do straight away.
Okay.
I mean, there were times, for example, getting up for Fajr, morning prayer, which I did miss quite a lot, and I'll just pray it when I got up because I wasn't so used to getting up so early in the morning. I had so much problems with that.
I'm years in, bro, and I struggle with Fajr.
Of course, like, yeah, till today.
Fajr is that salah that, subhanAllah, sometimes when you miss it, you feel like you just flopped your whole day. Like, and when you do it, and when you pray Fajr, you feel like your whole day is set. For me, certainly, bro, it's a challenge. Fajr is definitely a challenge, but alhamdulillah, it's a barakah when Allah grants you the ability to wake up and pray to Him. So I can understand why, as a new Muslim, for you that would have been difficult, and for me, it's always been difficult. But funnily enough, my first ever prayer that I remember praying was actually Fajr.
Okay, right.
Yeah, alhamdulillah, I remember that experience. Man.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, obviously even from till now, sometimes I find Fajr hard to get up for at times. But I feel when you finish praying, like especially when you've just finished praying Isha, which is the last prayer in the day, you feel some sort of accomplishment, like I've ticked every single box. So you feel the feeling of prayer is a nice feeling as well. Definitely. When you get into prostration, you're asking for forgiveness, and you feel a connection with Allah. Like you feel like you're connected. Like you're having because when they say when you pray, you have to see it as Allah standing in front of you. Yeah. So you feel that I'm being watched. I have to do everything in perfection and what have you. So I used to try to perfect everything. When I first learned Surah Al-Fatiha and I knew it, it was like. It just made me want to pray even like more, like be more thankful, and obviously I made mistakes when I was doing it, but it just felt like like I can't believe I know how to read this prayer. Like
it is amazing. It is amazing because when you first look at Surah Al-Fatiha, which is the opening chapter of the Quran, Shaitan immediately says to you, bruv, you're never going to memorize this.
You're never going to
memorize this. This is way too much.
Yeah, it's mad.
And then you get started, and wallahi, Allah makes it so easy. Allah makes it so easy. And when you recite, and especially when you learn to recite proficiently, with tajweed, with correct pronunciation, you do think to yourself, subhanallah, there was a time where I thought I would never be able to do this.
Exactly, and then you clear another few more surahs and then you're just like, wow, like how can you get it? Yeah, it's an amazing feeling. It's definitely an amazing feeling. But like sometimes, obviously, I know people have become Muslim and they never had someone there because obviously you had your brother there.
Yeah, I was very fortunate.
And I had my close friend, so there was times where if I needed any sort of help, he's like round the corner, he had a little blue book and we used to go through it in terms of how to recite Arabic and what have you and what's not to do, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I had that, he had my back. So he used to tell me like, if I made a mistake in reciting and what have you, and it was that's fortunate enough. So, but sometimes obviously people become Muslim and they don't know where to go to. They haven't got people around them that's Muslim and they haven't got like the right support group exactly. And there's people that's been Muslim all their lives, and even them they find salah difficult. Even me, sometimes I'm like be late or what have you. So, but there's some people that they've been Muslim all their life and they don't pray at all. And
why do you think that is? Because surely, as Muslimin, as believers, we want to pray. You know, it's something that feels good. You feel like you're a Muslim. I I think that a lot of people, because their life is not perfect, i.e. they're not the most pious of individuals, perhaps maybe they go to shisha lounges or bars, whatever you call them, or they go to clubs, or they link girls, or they do anything basically, even if they're on the roads doing certain things, they feel like because I'm still in that situation, I can't pray. Where it's almost like saying, I'm too dirty to have a shower.
Basically, It doesn't make no sense.
It's illogical. It doesn't really make sense. I actually know a beautiful brother, mashallah. Really, really nice brother. And he was involved in like illegal activities, let's just say. And I remember asking him, like, when did you actually decide to leave all that behind and actually do this Islam thing properly? And he said, bro, one time I was in my salah, because what's important to understand straight off the bat is that although he's committing crimes, he's still praying. Somehow Allah is still granting him the understanding that despite the fact that I'm doing this haram, I don't want to do more haram and not pray. I'm a Muslim, so I need to pray at least.
Too bad don't make a wrong kind of thing.
Exactly. Or too bad don't make a right.
Sorry.
So he said, bro, I was in my salah, and my phone was ringing. And when his phone's ringing, that's business. And he said, I was in my prayer and I was just thinking to myself, you know what, I need to make a decision. So his phone was vibrating in his pocket and he's in salah and he's thinking, I need to make a decision, man. I'm either going to do this, like this haram life, or I'm going to do this Islam. And he knew, everybody knows what's right, everybody knows what's wrong, but sometimes the right decision is hard to make. And he decided to leave that behind. And alhamdulillah, the brother, like, he wasn't a small fish. He doesn't have to work again. He's got money, he's nice, he's settled. But despite that, he left all of that behind and he chose to accept Islam. I know other people that have told me that they've been in clubs. They've left the club early in the morning and prayed Fajr at home. Like, I'm sure you probably know people who...
Of course. I've been, even me, when I became Muslim, I was proper trying to practice. I was practicing, but then a few years in, I kind of fell off a slight bit. And there was times where I was doing wrong, but I will still keep that in mind. That's one thing I try to make sure I do, because I knew the importance of it. I mean, it's the only way I think you can either be like raw to get your salah properly is like, you have to see it as like you're feeding the soul. Like, you won't go hungry. If you're hungry, you're gonna go eat. You have to make it the most important thing of the day. That's how you have to see it. I mean, if you don't, then it becomes more difficult, and it gets worse and worse. It always starts from like you missed one salah, and you're like, oh no, it always starts off I'm late, then you're late, then eventually like, oh, I missed one salah, then it's all right, then eventually I'm doing only Jumu'ah, which is Friday prayer, then eventually it's only Ramadan, I start to pray, and eventually you're not praying all together. So you have to look at yourself and feel like, right, what's most important for me right now? Yeah, I'm sinning, but everyone sins. What do I have to do to ask for forgiveness for that sin, number one, and what I have to do to make sure that at least if I die, I won't be questioned for my salah. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So, I mean, there will always be difficulties, but I think you have to just, obviously, as I said, make that your important, the main thing is during the day.
It is. I mean, it's the first thing that Allah will ask us about on the Day of Judgment is our salah.
Exactly.
And if that's not in order, then Allah won't even ask us about other things on the Day of Judgment, such as good treatment to your parents, charity, other types of ibadah. The salah is like a pillar. So it's most definitely important to make sure that that's maintained. In terms of, you know, the Quran and your experience with the Quran, was there anybody there to help you, or did you face any challenges in terms of learning how to recite the Arabic, or do you remember anything about that process? Because some people actually start off their prayer reading in English.
In terms of learning Arabic and trying to implement it, my friend, he used to try to go through the Fatiha with me all the time, until I perfected that, because that was the main thing you need to start with. So I used to do that, and then he taught me a few surahs here and there. Then I joined. There was in the masjid. There was one brother, very good brother there. He used to do lessons. In fact, at the time, he wasn't actually doing proper lessons, but I used to see him in the masjid. He was about my age, and he used to recite Quran a lot. And a few times I see kids, parents sending their kids to him. So one time I went up to him and said, yo, bro, I see, like, mashallah, your Arabic seems good, and you seem like you know how to teach. Is it possible to jump in a lesson with you? We link up like twice or three times a week. And we did so, and there was a blue book that we had, I think.
I remember that book.
Yeah, you know,
I think it was the one with the Arabic alphabet in it.
Yes. It was that, yeah. And what he found a lot as well is that I think at the time I knew like 3 surahs and I knew the Fatiha. But I've been reading. So
you knew 3 chapters of the Quran?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, I knew.
How long did it take you to memorize that?
I mean, to remember, I can't remember exactly how long. It did take. It was a thing where I'll memorize it quickly, but in order to go to another one, I'll procrastinate a lot.
Yeah,
do you know what I'm trying to say?
I know exactly what you're talking about. Because it's that anxiety and that feeling of, I don't want to not be able to do it.
Yeah.
So you abstain from it. Wallahi, akhi, I experienced that today. Alhamdulillah, now I have just over a juz of the Quran. So I know like 30 odd chapters of the Quran. And even till today, I procrastinate to learn and memorize a new chapter of the Quran because it's a challenge, and you hate the feeling of struggling to memorize it. But once you get started, alhamdulillah,
once you get started, you're right.
Achieve.
So the brother, mashallah, we used to link up at least 2-3 times a day, and he used to sit down with me, do Quran with me. He's a very strict brother as well, like.
Okay.
Yeah, very strict brother. Although we used to like have banter and what have you after the lesson, and he was the same age as me, which is, as you said earlier, it could be someone 10 years old that could teach you, or someone the same age you could be an old man.
Yeah.
So I was like, raw, like I've never had this experience where someone says to me, "Akhi, what are you doing? You're wrong. Where's the surah that I told you to bring last week?" And I'm like, raw, like. Who's man chatting to you? You know what I mean? But then I understood exactly what he wanted. And he wasn't doing it for no money, no nothing. He just wanted to get the ajr and get the benefit from the reward from it. Eventually, it started to grow as well. Other brothers used to start joining until he was able to do a whole class with us, with the other brothers in the community.
You know how we was talking about the salah and praying 5 times a day? I think that a lot of people are under the impression that praying 5 times a day is an immense challenge or like a burden on your day. And I remember reading a book once, and it spoke about, a psychologist wrote it, spoke about how we develop habits as human beings in general. Some people build a habit within themselves where they're always late. Regardless of what time you need to meet someone, you can say, bro, I'll meet you at 9 o'clock, they'll come 9:30. You tell them 10 o'clock, they'll come at 10:30. It doesn't matter what time, they're just going to be late because they program themselves that way. Some people develop really good habits, like gym and fitness, for example. Going to the gym is easy for them, it's part of their routine. I realized that for myself, I really wanted to make sure that once I learned how to pray, I prayed 5 times a day. Because I kind of likened it to the gym. You know when you go to the gym and you've got a good routine, you go 3 times a week, then a month down the line, you miss a session. Do you know how hard it is to go back to keeping that routine again? Because once you compromise once, it's very easy to compromise on everything. So even I remember for myself, if I woke up late for a salah, then I would just have to pray it. I have to make sure I've done the 5.
Exactly.
Because if I don't, I feel like I'm creating a negative habit within myself that I won't be able to maintain. So now I'm sure you're exactly the same. When you want to go to the cinema, for example, if you go to the cinema or you're going out to a restaurant or you've got plans, you're always conscious of when your prayer is.
Where am I going to be? Is there a place? Is there a place I can like make wudu? If not, if the whatever starts or after my reservation at the restaurant is at this time, am I going to catch salah?
But it's not that. I know it sounds
it's
deep,
just conscious.
But it's just easy.
It's a habit.
It's like a natural sort of thought process. It's not like you're literally sitting there for ages trying to plan out your day. But you're very.
It's a natural thing because you're doing it regularly.
Exactly.
It's a natural thing. Exactly. So, but I do agree with you, man. I mean, like, when I was when you're late, I think anyway, when you're late for salah, when you like, for example, if I just say it was at 5 or something like that, and you wake up at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, you look at yourself, you think, subhanAllah, like, what's going on? Like, is this me? But then that's the humiliation. At least you have that feeling. Some people ain't got that feeling at all. So although it's like, you've missed the salah, at least you have the feeling that, like I've done something wrong. You feel like ashamed of yourself per se. Maybe it was not even your fault. You just woke up late.
Well, the ruling is that if you aren't conscious, then you know you're not sinful.
Sinful,
and Allah knows best, of course.
But you still have that, But you still have that feeling like, I woke up. I need to fix up myself, innit? And like as you said, you have to make it. It has to become a natural habit. If it doesn't become a habit, then and another thing as well, I wanted to mention as well, having khushu', which is like concentration in prayer. Sometimes you don't want to pray and just be like, I prayed, alhamdulillah, Fajr, Maghrib, whatever, I finished praying. You don't want it to be like just a tick the box. When you pray, you need to make that connection that the same connection that I had when I was first Muslim, I need to have that same connection, because sometimes you may feel like, rah, I need to quickly go, or I'm trying to do something. You might rush your prayer, but if you have khushu', which is the concentration, it feels much better.
It's a challenge. It's a challenge. To have khushu' in your salah is a blessing. You know, to have concentration in your prayer is such a blessing from Allah, and it's something that we work on regularly. But I think that what we want our viewers to definitely understand and to take from this episode is that regardless of your circumstances, regardless of the situation you're in, regardless if you're a sister, the fact that you might not dress appropriately when you're outside, whether you're a brother, if you're involved in any sort of illegal activity, you've got a girlfriend, or you still go to clubs, you still got company that get up to certain things, it's just always pray. Always pray, always maintain that there, because the people that I know who was in those situations but maintain their salah, Allah's blessed them in their life.
Of course, yeah.
And then if you leave your salah, then you become very detached away from Allah, and it becomes hard for you to maintain your Islam. If you're a sister and you don't cover up properly generally when you're walking around, just take something with you in your bag that when it's time for prayer, you can put it on and pray. Do you understand what I'm saying? And
another thing as well, don't feel like, oh, it's a burden. Like, like, I have to pray 5 times a day, I have to get up early in the morning. No, I mean, it will become easier. That's what the shaitan wants you to feel like, like, this is going to be hard for me, I have to pray. No, it becomes easier and easier to a point when you love doing it. Same with the gym. You love going gym. That's why you can get up in the morning. I don't go gym, as you can see, but if I was to start going gym now, I find it like difficult, but eventually it will become easy. You'll be like, right, my alarm's gone off, I have to go gym. So it feels, it's gonna get easier. It doesn't, no way it gets harder.
It definitely doesn't get harder. There's absolutely no way about that. The more you do it, the more easier it becomes. As I said, it becomes more part of a routine. The challenges that can remain, for example, might be like keeping your concentration,
lateness, and so,
so to wrap up, because we're coming towards the end of our show, what would be your key advice to people, either Muslims already looking to start praying, non-Muslims considering Islam and thinking about, can I pray, and new reverts? What would be your advice?
For brothers who's already been Muslim, because I've tried to advise some brothers, whoever been Muslim or been Muslim for a long period of time, don't ever think like, like, what am I going to start now? Like, or because a lot of people sometimes say, I'm going to do it when I'm older. Just get it done, because we don't know, might not be here tomorrow. Exactly. Do you get what I'm saying? So just get done. Don't feel like there's no amount of sin.
So don't procrastinate, basically.
Yeah, don't procrastinate, and don't feel like don't have the stigma that only people who are pious or who pray or not. No, anyone can pray. You could be the most baddest person. You could be the most best person. So you need to just know that just get it done, and don't make that one of the things that you're questioned for on a day of judgment or when you're in your grave. Don't make that the thing, and don't feel like it's hard. It's not hard. It will get easier if that.
It certainly isn't, and even in the beginning, perhaps if it is difficult, that's part of the struggle, that's part of the blessing.
Exactly.
You know, anything that's worth having comes with some type of struggle, and paradise is most certainly something worth struggling for.
Exactly.
Well, barakallahu feek again. Very, very beneficial topic.
Yes,
Thank you for all of your input. I'm sure it's inspired and motivated a lot of born Muslims, new Muslims, people considering Islam, to learn about the beauty of the salah.
Yeah.
Brothers and sisters, we've come to the end of our show on prayer. I hope you benefited from it. Next time, we'll be discussing how to deal with non-Muslim family members. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.